Hey guys. Okay, let's try this again. It has not been a very good day. I have not been in a good mood. I've been having issues. Scott and I are having issues. All I want to do right now is cry. But I know I need to get some videos out, so I wanted to do an update. I started doing that, then my stupid cat got on there, got on my computer, and locked my screen. I'm sorry, you guys. It's been one of those days. It started last night. Well, was it last night? It started the other night. Okay. Still looking for a job. I have to call Pizza Hut Monday and talk to the manager that I spoke with on the interview. She wasn't in today, so as far as I know, the nursing home is not hiring. That's what I was told. I do have some other ideas. I'm trying to work things out to where I can just get a job online. But I'm waiting for income taxes because I need my other computer. So I need dual screens and I need the Ethernet cord. So I gotta wait on the income taxes for that. I gotta get my computer, vehicle, of course, and then I am gonna get the camper trailer and I'm gonna put that on the property. And I mean, that'll give us a base to stay in so, we can start working. We're probably not going to be able to fully move onto the property until next spring. But anyway, I'm at least going to do what I can before that. So, I have been working on my quilt. That part of it. As soon as I get this done, I will attach it to the rest of it. And then I will start cutting out the blocks for the second half of this on my free time. Which, it seems like I have a lot of free time, but I don't really. I'm trying to get some other things done here. Monday morning, I'm going to start working on putting quilt blocks together for quilts that we're going to sell. And I'm gonna, it's gonna be a while, obviously, because I need the batting, the all natural cotton batting for the middle of them. And I need the fabric for the back. So, and I need a bunch more thread. So, of course, it's going to be a while. I mean, it's going to take a while to get a quilt put together anyway. But I'm going to start working on that. I'm going to be working on more paintings. I'm hoping I can get some more canvases. Income taxes. I did get some seeds planted. Since it's so late in the season, I have not planted any more vegetable seeds. I don't really have a good place for them. I mean, my little pots, but they can't be left in there, obviously, and I don't have any big ones. So, my other stuff, I've gotten a few banana peppers. I've gotten one little purple pepper, but we've gotten a few strawberries. I'm just trying to keep my fruit bushes alive at this point because it's so hot and we just have not been getting enough rain, so. But some of the seeds that I did get planted, apple seeds and cherry, the dark sweet cherry and the rainier cherries, and the plum trees. So, and when they get grown up, the cherry The sweet cherry, the Rainier cherry, and the plum trees, when they get probably about 6 inches high, maybe a little bit more than that, I will be selling those, but those are going to sell for like $20 a piece. Anyway, and I'm going to see if I can do that online. I still have to, I've got to get my digital postal scale so I can get the Etsy store up. Because there's going to be t-shirts, the glasses. I do still have to get the protective coating for that. It's just a work in progress because of our financial situation right now. So, anyway, uh, I guess let's go ahead and start working on the new subject for the video. This one's called Permission to Not Do Everything. So here we go. And I really like the picture in the front. Okay, Permission to Not Do Everything by Anne Briggs, aka Anne of All Trades. Alright. Self-sufficiency is a tricky word. It sounds romantic, alluring even. It brings with it promises of freedom from broken systems, getting to spend our time and money how we want, gaining more control over our family's well-being and health. I'm all for the kinds of self-sufficiency that actually bring us more time, emotional and financial freedom. Bring us more time and emotional and financial freedom. But left unchecked, our efforts toward becoming self-sufficient can easily become a prison just as toxic, isolating, and draining as the systems from which we homesteaders are fleeing. The never-ending to-do list, gardens needing weeding, harvest needing preserving, livestock needing tending, taking on too much too quickly, or taking on continuing in the wrong things can rob us of everything. Far too many would-be homesteaders burn themselves out and or run out of money before they ever even taste the freedom they seek. There are two main lies folks delving into homesteading seem all too eager to believe. One, doing things yourself is always cheaper and better. Depends on how you do it. Two, selling things equals making money. Okay. I know there's a lot that goes into that. You have to spend money to be able to make it. The first lie is that homesteading is cheaper than the city life. Dollar for dollar, if you stick it out for the long haul, you will likely end up saving money, but it takes a lot of time, learning, infrastructure, and often money to get started. Most first-time gardeners will tell you they learned heaps with their first garden, but if they actually accounted for all the time, effort, planting materials, seeds, starts, and trellises, then their first few tomatoes ended up costing a whole lot more than those they could have purchased at the grocery store. I cannot read today. And after all the time, effort, and materials required to build a chicken coop, not to mention the brooder, heat lamps, special waters, and all the feed required to raise baby chicks to 6-month-old hens, ready to lay some eggs, those first few eggs were pretty pricey too. Okay. There are ways to skirt around a lot of that fancy stuff. You don't need all of that. You think about it, they didn't have that way back in the day. So there is a way to get around it. Other off-grid homesteaders, like Off-Grid with Doug and Stacy, they don't use that stuff. So there is a way to get around it. You just have to do your research. The feeling of satisfaction and pride accompanying those first tomatoes and eggs is priceless. But keep track of those receipts and make note of the time you're spending on those endeavors, along along the way, because that information is going to be very helpful down the road when it's time to decide whether to add more hens to the flock so you can sell eggs to the neighbors, or whether it makes financial sense to take your tomatoes to the farmer's market. Time is money. We can trade our time working at a job so we can afford the convenience of purchasing tomatoes and eggs someone else took their time and effort to raise for us, or we can take our time building gardens and chicken coops, learning to raise veggies and caring for our chickens, and we'll no longer have to rely on those items being available on the grocery shelves. Here's the other thing they're not saying, okay? One of the things that is priceless is the health the health you acquire from raising your own vegetables and your own food, your own meat, eggs. They're not saying that in here right now. At least not yet. If we are broke and our hours are more plentiful than our dollars, the latter option sounds fairly attractive. 10 years ago, when most of our food was coming from the food bank and there never seemed to be enough money for gas by the end of the week, I planted my first garden. I spent thousands of hours those first few years trying, failing, researching, and trying some more to grow nutrient-dense food. I learned a ton, but that learning wasn't free. I started baking bread and raising illegal chickens in the city. With zero chill, I spent the next 8 years constantly scaling up my farming endeavors and eventually found myself on a 30-acre beef and dairy farm completely burned out. I tried to do it all alone while also working full time. A lot of that time was spent working multiple jobs to make ends meet. In the process, I nearly lost everything I'd worked so hard for so long to build because I simply could not do it all alone anymore. Far too often, homesteaders seem to forget that time is our only non-renewable resource. As we establish ourselves and start producing more than we consume, we can easily fall into a dangerous thinking trap that severely undervalues our time and costly consumables required to grow and produce things on our homestead. A friend of mine lives off-grid with a family of 5. Even living extremely frugally, scavenging, upcycling, and recycling as many supplies and materials as they need, growing their own food, and doing darn near everything else themselves, too, they need to earn at least $38,000 to keep their farm and family afloat. Now that's probably buying all the feed, that kind of thing. Guys, it is possible to raise your food for your animals, to make food for your cats, your dogs, to grow the food for your horses, your cows, your pigs, your chickens, your ducks, your geese, turkeys, guineas, whatever else you might have. It's possible. It's very possible. Now, not everybody has the room for that, but it is still possible. And this is another thing that we're aiming for, because let's face it, guys, there's going to be coming a time when we're not going to be able to go to a Tractor Supply and get that stuff. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do when you can't go to Tractor Supply and buy all the feed for your animals? What are you guys going to do? What are you guys going to do when power grids are down and there is no internet? What are you going to do? You have to be able to grow and raise everything for all your animals and all your family. And you have to be able to make all your medicines, everything, because that's what it's going to take to survive. You look this up, they say that when the power grids go down, and it is a when, it's not an if, it will happen. It is going to happen. It's inevitable now. When the power grids are down, within a year, they say 90% of all Americans will be dead. 9 out of every 10. Are you going to be one of them? Or are you going to get what you need and put yourself in that place with all the knowledge that you need by the books Buy the books, you guys. I keep saying that. Hard copy. Hard copy where you can go to a book and look stuff up. Read it. You don't have to look it up online. Make sure you have the cookbooks. Make sure you have the canning books. Make sure you have the canners, the water bath canners, the pressure canners. Yeah, you know what? I've even said I want to get away from the canning. Why? Because it does kill some of the nutrients in the food. But you know what? If you have to put your food up that way, you're not going to starve. You'll still survive. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you can't go to the store? What are you going to do when there is no internet? Are you going to become one of those 9 out of 10? Or are you going to help that number to be a little bit lower? Us, as Faith First Farm and Homestead, we want to help that number to be lower. Not just for us, for our family, to be able to be self-sufficient, to get out of the system. I want to get out of the rat race. And right now I'm below the bottom right now. Okay? But I also know it's still possible. I still know that it's very possible. And I'm gonna do it. Because you can do anything you put your mind to. She says 50,000 would make life a lot more comfortable, but they have chosen to try to earn their entire living on their homestead, which is what we want to do, so they can spend more time together as a family. Even the savviest homesteader would have a hard time fully exiting the modern economic system. So money needs to be earned one way or another. Property, farm goods, and most everything we might need for the farm gets cheaper the more rural we go. But the farther we get from the city also means getting farther from a higher paying customer base for farm wares and more opportunities for good paying off farm work. Rural internet isn't great for remote working most places yet either. With no mortgage or other debt, my friend's $38,000 minimum budget goes to 1. Supplementary groceries, 2. Propane. See, I'm not going to go propane. We're going to go wood cook stove. Now, out there, we're going to have to figure out a way to get the wood. I know that. Alright, and I'm hoping that there's like woodsy areas out there where we can just go and just cut wood. So, we're hoping. Gas for generator and cars. Car, health, life insurance. All of that stuff is going to be null and void once the power grids are down. Because once the power grids are down, it is everybody for themselves. There is not going to be anybody. You're not going to be able to make a phone call. Because there's going to be no phones that are going to work. None of that stuff is going to be up. No electricity, no cell service, nothing. It's just not going to be there. What is everyone going to do? Internet, cell phone, house phone, building infrastructure on the homestead. That breaks down to needing to generate $19.23 an hour and $153.84 per day, $769.23 per week, and $3,333.33 per month. See, we can get that through online jobs, but once we get our online jobs, I'm going to put that money so thoroughly into what we need to get our homestead up and going that we will have things together. And I've got to get my lists made. I know that. I have not taken the time to do that because I've been trying to figure out this whole job thing, but I'm getting there. Alright. There are many great resources on living frugally and setting yourself up for success if you plan to run a business through your farm. I highly recommend Joel Salatin's book, You Can Farm, and if you have debt you need to pay off before diving in, Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover can be found at most libraries. I learned the hard way that selling my farm goods did not necessarily equal making money. There are tons of hidden costs in every endeavor. If we're not accounting for them or our time spent and compensating ourselves fairly for it, then we are not making money, even if money is changing hands. Selling eggs was a major eye-opener for me. Like many other homesteaders with a heart, I developed a chicken collecting habit early on. It was impossible to go to Tractor Supply and not come home with a few puffballs at least a few times a season. Eventually, this led to an extreme overabundance of eggs, and incidentally, an astronomically high feed bill each month. I was selling eggs for $7 a dozen, which seemed like insanely good money, so a few more chickens never seemed like a bad idea. But when I finally calculated how much I was actually spending on chicks, feed, egg cartons, and brooder supplies, as well as all the time, effort, and energy spent raising the chicks to laying age, busting frozen waters in the winter, collecting eggs, cleaning coops, stopping to chat with neighbors when they picked up their eggs, etc., I realized I would actually have to start selling my eggs for $9 a dozen just to break even. And even that put me making less than minimum wage as a chicken keeper. Incidentally, I really, really hate cleaning chicken coops. So at $7 a dozen, I was literally paying my neighbors for the opportunity to do one of my least favorite things way more often than I needed to because I had way more birds than I should have had. Goodbye, egg business. And you know what? You can sell eggs. You can sell your excess eggs without getting an overabundance of chickens. You don't need 200 chickens to have an egg business. You just don't. You just don't. A similar decision matrix helped me determine that my cow, dairy and beef endeavors were worth investing in, while my goat dairy needed to shrink significantly. I'd like to give you permission to not do it all. To take a real honest inventory of what you've got going on, where you'd like to go, to press pause on the daily grind long enough to really look at the data. How are you spending your time each day? What do the things you're producing actually cost you to produce, both time and money-wise? Is that savings and are those earnings worth the outlaying of time, effort, and infrastructure development? Now, with our barns and that kind of thing, I'm planning on getting pallets and building them that way. So I'm not going to go out and buy that stuff. Yes, I will have to buy like the screws. I'm going to have to buy the drill, that kind of thing. But I'm not buying the materials to make those. And I'm not going to go out and buy sheds to, make into barns, that kind of thing. I'm not going to do that because it's just too costly. And it's not really worth it. Okay. Where is the greatest value in what you have to offer? What things are you doing that are life-giving? What things are most draining? I give you permission to stop pouring time, money, energy, and your limited emotional capacity into endeavors that aren't serving you, your family, or your long-term goals. To cut your losses and let go of your sunk cost biases. If you can convince yourself to slow down long enough to collect some data and get in the habit of regularly reviewing it, then you'll create the ammo you need to make informed decisions that have the potential to buy back hundreds, if not thousands, of hours over the next couple of years. Getting a handle on how I was spending my time each day helped me compress an 80-hour work week into under 40. Eliminate things that drained my emotional capacity, and develop systems that better served me, my business, and my farm. That data gave me the emotional permission I needed to cut my losses with certain endeavors and finally invest in expensive infrastructure here on the farm that will save me thousands of hours over the course of their lifetimes, remove huge stress points from my daily life, and help restore the excitement and creative vision I'd lost sight of in the midst of the extreme burnout and depression I experienced, frantically chasing the dream of freedom without a solid plan as to how I'd actually attain it. And that's, why I've got to get all this stuff written out. So, my friends, I'll leave you with this. I have made the regular habit this past year of asking myself the following questions about every endeavor I undertake on the farm. Is this still fun? Why or why not? Is this activity a good use of my time? Is it more valuable than something else I could be doing with the very limited time I have available? Self-sufficiency does not necessarily mean doing literally everything ourselves. And Pinterest city dweller to farmer prescription is not for everyone. Chickens, raised beds, sourdough, aficionado, beekeeper, flour mill, canning and preserving meat, rabbits, goats, soaps, and herbalism. Goodbye city, cows, pigs, regenerative agriculture, fiber, cheese, meat curing, wood stove only, fully off grid. Congratulations, you have achieved freedom. But you've spent your entire retirement on vet bills, you've broken your body, and you can never take a vacation again because the cow needs to be milked twice a day, the fences need to be fixed, the tractor has a flat tire, and the barn roof has just sprung a leak. Just because other homesteaders are doing it doesn't mean you need to. You need to do it. You need to do it too. Blech. In fact, if you know other homesteaders, approach them. Hang out at the feed store. Go to a farm auction. Introduce yourself and ask lots of questions. Find ways to collaborate. Ask them to teach you. Barter with them. Just plain buy their stuff and support their endeavors the way you'd love to see others support yours. Unless, of course, you realize you love doing it. You've got a clear picture of the time, effort, and money required to do the thing yourself, and you know, by doing it, that you can save and generate enough money to buy back some of your precious time for other things that are important to you. We chose this way of life to create freedom, not to burden ourselves until we break. I truly believe humans were created to live in community, joyfully pursuing work that gives purpose and fulfillment. Life is a gift, not a punishment. So let's work together and make this one life we get a joyful endeavor, shall we? Alright, and that was by Anne Briggs, known as Anne of all trades. A farmer, builder, and educator focused on teaching and preserving disappearing life skills. Anne teaches fine woodworking classes, runs a marketing and online education business by day, and operates the farm solo in between work, family, and community obligations. Find her online at www.anneofalltrades.com. That was it for that. And the next one is on spring foraging for plant treasures. And I will go ahead and get off from here, and I will get this up there, and I will see you guys on another video. I'm not sure when that's going to be, though. So, I will see you guys in a while. Bye, guys.